I've crossed over, and I've been bound to a love-obsessed system with a cutesy, high-pitched voice. Its only mission is to make me win over the cold, aloof, and ruthless crown prince. So, under the system's electric shock punishments, I was forced to act out classic scenes like accidentally falling, unintentionally throwing myself into his arms, and just happening to be saved by the hero. While I was frantically complaining in my heart about this cheesy plot, I had to put on a face of deep, unwavering admiration. But can someone tell me why the Crown Prince looks at me not like an admirer, but more like a demon that needs to be exorcised on the spot? It wasn't until later that I realized the ding-ding-ding system notification sound in my head. He could actually hear it too. Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins. Ding. Target of affection detected. Newbie mission triggered. First encounter of love. Host. Please fall flat on the ground within 10 seconds and accurately land in the arms of the Crown Prince. Just as that overly sweet, almost drippingly saccharine mechanical female voice echoed in my mind, I was in the Imperial Garden pretending to admire the flowers, and my target of affection, the Crown Prince of the dynasty, Xiao Heng, was walking toward me in a bright yellow casual robe, surrounded by a crowd of palace attendants. His face was stern, his features as exquisite as a painting. And he radiated an aura so powerful it seemed to say, "Strangers keep away, and so should the living." A silent scream echoed within me. Me, trip over flat ground. In my past life, I was a humanoid Gundam, walking upstairs with the wind at my back. And now you want me to stage such a low-level trip-and-fall scam in front of so many people, targeting the Crown Prince. Countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. No way, I roared inwardly. A scholar may be killed, but never humiliated. 7, 6. Warning. If the host does not execute the task, a level 1 electric shock punishment will be initiated. Electric shock. Who are you trying to scare? 3, 2, zap. A powerful electric current instantly surged through my entire body, causing me to convulse violently, nearly foaming at the mouth on the spot. I was wrong. I won't dare do it again. Faced with the choice between being electrocuted into a roasted suckling pig and losing face, I decisively chose the latter. Seeing that Xiao Heng was only 3 steps away from me, I steeled my heart, closed my eyes, and as if controlled by invisible strings, tripped over my own feet and lunged precisely toward that bright yellow figure. According to the script, the next scene should have been the hero saving the beauty, me collapsing into his warm, broad embrace, our eyes meeting, sparks flying, and emotions stirring in secret. However, reality was, the embrace I had imagined never came. Xiao Heng, that decisive and ruthless Crown Prince, with utmost calm, one might even say disgust, took a step to the side, just a moment before I threw myself at him. So, in a standard starving dog pouncing on food posture, I landed face first, solidly, on the cold, hard bluestone pavement. Bang! The entire Imperial Garden fell silent in an instant. Lying on the ground, I felt like my nose might be broken, and my dignity was utterly shattered. It hurt so much, a double blow. Both physical and emotional. Before I could even get up from the ground, I heard a voice as cold as ice coming from above. Who are you? What are you scheming? Pretending to be a ghost here, covering my nearly broken nose. I slowly raised my head, forcing a delicate and innocent expression, my eyes brimming with tears. I was just careless. However, my pitiful appearance did not earn the slightest bit of pity from the Crown Prince. The look in his eyes was filled with caution, suspicion, and even a hint of murderous intent. Wait, this isn't how the script is supposed to go. Shouldn't he be asking me with concern, "Are you all right, miss?" Just as I was bewildered, the system voice in my head sounded once again. Ding, newbie mission failed, punishment initiated, level 2 electric shock. Wait, hold on, ZZZ. An electric current several times stronger than before swept through my entire body once more. I collapsed to the ground, convulsing uncontrollably, my limbs trembling at an extremely eerie frequency. To those around me, I probably looked like I was having an epileptic fit, but in Xiao Heng's eyes, my appearance clearly confirmed a certain suspicion in his mind. Watching me channeling energy on the ground, His expression grew increasingly grim. He took a slow step back, his hand already resting on the sword at his waist. In truth, he had no idea of the turmoil in my heart, just as I was pouncing on him. He was pondering military affairs at the border when an extremely eerie voice abruptly echoed in his mind. Ding! Detected the appearance of the target to be pursued, triggering the novice mission. First encounter of love. Please, host. Within 10 seconds, at that moment, he thought he was hallucinating or had fallen under some kind of sorcery. He remained calm, heightened his alertness, and then saw me, this unfamiliar woman, lunging toward him in an extremely unnatural, rigid posture. In that instant, only 2 words flashed through his mind: sorceress. So, he didn't hesitate to choose to avoid her, and now, watching me convulse on the ground, he became even more convinced of his judgment. This woman was not only a sorceress, but a sorceress who had failed to master her craft and was now suffering the backlash of dark magic. Guards, he finally spoke, his voice dripping with undisguised murderous intent. Take this woman of unknown origin, who intended to assassinate me, and throw her into the dungeon, interrogate her thoroughly. My convulsions grew even more frequent. No, bro, do I look like someone who would attempt an assassination in any way? And just like that, on my very first day transmigrating into the book, I was dragged into the legendary royal dungeon, the kind you enter but never leave, under the charge of attempted assassination of the crown prince. My path to conquest hadn't even begun, yet it seemed it was already over. The conditions in the dungeon were even worse than I had imagined: dark, damp, with a strange odor in the air, a mix of rust, blood, and mildew. I was locked in a solitary cell, heavy shackles on my hands and feet that clanked loudly with every move. Ding! Detected that the host's vital signs are weak and emotions extremely low, automatically activating newbie care mode. Host, would you like me to play Good Luck Comes For You? I need you to shut up, I roared in my mind. This lousy system is utterly useless. Aside from electrocuting me and assigning some socially disastrous tasks, I curled up in the straw pile in the corner and began to seriously reflect on my miserable journey of transmigrating into a book. The book I transmigrated into is called Power Over the Realm, a grand political intrigue novel centered around a male protagonist. The Crown Prince, Xiao Heng, is the male lead of this book. He is patient, cunning, decisive in his actions, and overcomes all obstacles to eventually ascend to the throne. As for me, I transmigrated into a nameless cannon fodder female side character in the book. The original text only briefly described her. In the Crown Prince's youth, a sycophant once presented a dancing girl in an attempt to seduce him. The Crown Prince remained unmoved, and the next day, the dancing girl died suddenly in the palace. This suddenly deceased dancing girl is me. I crossed over on the very night before I was sent into the palace. My mission was to win over the Crown Prince and make him fall in love with me. As long as his affection level reached 100%, I could return to my original world. But now, forget about affection, his murderous intent has probably already maxed out. I was sighing in despair when suddenly, footsteps echoed from outside the cell. It was Xiao Heng. He changed out of his casual clothes and into a narrow-sleeved black robe, which made his figure appear even more upright and his demeanor extraordinary. He stood outside the cell, looking at me through the bars with a scrutinizing gaze. I immediately switched to the delicate, innocent flower mode, lifting my head to reveal tear-filled, pitiful eyes. Your Highness, this humble subject is wronged. He didn't speak, just watched me quietly. Just as I thought he was about to start interrogating me, the system voice in my head chimed in again at the worst possible moment. Ding, side quest triggered, gaze of love. Please gaze deeply into the eyes of the target for 1 minute, and during this time, convey the emotional message: you are my only light through your eyes. Me. Can I convey you are my only bald-headed Chong instead? Warning, please execute the task immediately, otherwise. Alright, I'll do it. I gave in. So, I strained to widen my eyes, channeling all my emotions into them, trying to appear both deeply affectionate and utterly broken. Like a stray kitten abandoned by the world yet seeing only him, my gaze was intense and burning. But to Xiao Heng, it was a completely different scene. As soon as he stepped into this gloomy dungeon, That eerie voice echoed in his mind once again. Ding, side quest triggered, a gaze of love. He sneered inwardly. What trick is this enchantress trying to pull now? He remained calm, wanting to see what kind of game I was playing. Then, he watched as I lifted my head and stared at him with an extremely bizarre gaze. That look wasn't one of admiration, but more like a butcher who hadn't eaten for 3 days eyeing a prime cut of marbled pork. It was full of greed and possessiveness. Xiao Heng's brows furrowed tighter and tighter. This enchantress is truly no good sort. What she desires is likely not me, but rather, this aura of the true dragon within me. In an instant, he conjured up a melodramatic plot of 10,000 words. The enchantress absorbs dragon energy to cultivate into a demon. After a minute of deep eye contact, I felt my eyes were about to cramp up. Ding, mission complete. Reward, 1 detox pill. Detected that the host's body is weak. Use it immediately. Use it, use it, I hurriedly shouted in my mind. A virtual pill instantly dissolved inside my body, and the numbness from the electric shock and the feeling of physical weakness actually eased quite a bit. Just as I was secretly delighted, I saw that Xiao Heng outside the cell had a face so gloomy it could drip water. He finally spoke, his voice even colder than the ice in this prison cell. What were you doing just now? I continued to act. This humble subject was merely in awe of your Highness's majesty, and for a moment, was too stunned to look away. Stunned, he sneered, clearly not believing a single word. I think you were casting some kind of sorcery again, weren't you? My heart skipped a beat. How could he? Ding, random task triggered. Love confession. Host, please immediately say the following line to the target of your strategy. Your Highness, you're so bad. I like it so much. Me, system, I curse your ancestors. Host must comply immediately, otherwise, I'll do it. Alright, I took a deep breath, mustering all the acting skills I had acquired in my lifetime, and flashed a shy yet bold smile at Xiao Heng, my voice so sugary it gave me goosebumps. Your Highness, you're so naughty tilde, I said, wriggling my body coquettishly as I spoke, but, I really like it tilde. After I said this, the entire dungeon fell into a deathly silence. Even the mice in the corner stopped their squeaking, and Xiao Heng. He looked at me. The expression on his face could no longer be described as gloomy. It was a complex expression mixed with shock, disgust, anger, and a trace of fear. He seemed to have seen something extremely filthy, something that could pollute his eyes. He took a sudden step back, as if to draw a clear line between himself and this monster that I was. Then, in a tone he had never used before, gritting his teeth, he roared 2 words at the jailer behind him. Torture him. I was tightly bound to the torture rack. A jailer with a face full of brutish flesh, holding a whip soaked in salt water, was chuckling darkly in front of me. I want to cry but have no tears. System, come out. I promise I won't kill you. Is this a romance strategy system or a torture experience system? Ding. After testing, the target's affection level is 50, host's current total affection level, 100. Please keep up the good work tilde. Me, keep up the good work. If I keep this up, I'll be meeting the king of hell. Speak. Xiao Heng sat on the interrogation chair, his voice icy cold. Who are you really? Who sent you? Why did you sneak into the palace and what are your intentions? Your Highness, I wept, my tears falling like pear blossoms in the rain. I truly only admire you. Admire, he sneered. Your admiration involves using sorcery to bewitch me and uttering such shameless words. It seemed that even repeating my words felt like an insult to him. My heart was filled with bitterness. Brother, do you think I wanted to speak? I was forced into it. Take action. He gave me no chance to argue further. Slap. The saltwater whip lashed fiercely across my back, a burning pain instantly spreading through my entire body. I groaned in agony, nearly grinding my silver teeth to dust. Speak. This humble daughter has nothing to say. Slap. Another lash. Just as I thought I was really going to be beaten to death. The system voice in my head suddenly became urgent. Alert, alert. Detected a severe emotional fluctuation in the target of pursuit. Affection points +10. Me, what's going on? I got beaten, and his affection points increased. Could it be that this crown prince has some peculiar preferences? Does he enjoy watching others get abused? Alert. heartbeat value plus 20. I was beaten until my skin split and flesh tore, yet his heartbeat value kept soaring. I think I've stumbled upon some incredible strategy code. So, when the next whip struck, I didn't stubbornly endure it. Instead, I cooperated by letting out a sharp, fragile scream. Alert, heartbeat value plus 30. Just as I thought, I get it now. This crown prince is a hidden sadist. He says he despises me, but in reality, the more I suffer and the more miserable I am, the more excited he gets. I've found hope for survival, and so, I began my emotionally charged performance. Your Highness, how could you be so cruel? I wailed, using my broken voice to recite the lines of tortured love that the system had temporarily generated. Go ahead and hit me. Even if you beat me to death, I will never change my feelings for you. Slap, heartbeat value plus 50. For you, I would do anything, even if it means death. Slap, heartthrob value plus 80. Watching my rising heartthrob value, I was in a state of bittersweet agony. Meanwhile, Xiao Heng in the interrogation chair was completely dumbfounded. He watched me, unyielding even in the face of death on the torture rack, continuously making deep confessions of love to him. His heart weathering an unprecedented storm. He was indeed provoked by my miserable state, but not out of excitement, but because of an unfamiliar emotion that even he himself couldn't explain. Was it anger, irritation, or a trace of pity? Every time the whip fell and he heard my screams, that eerie voice in his head would frantically sound the alarm, and his heart would uncontrollably tighten, as if gripped by an invisible hand. This feeling was utterly unfamiliar to him, and utterly terrifying. He didn't know that the system had mistakenly interpreted his emotions of heartache and reluctance as infatuation. All he knew was that this enchantress was too sinister. Not only could she use sorcery to affect his hearing, but now, even his mind was beginning to be shaken by her. No, he absolutely couldn't let her continue any longer. Stop. He abruptly stood up, halting the jailer. He walked up to me, gazing at the crisscrossing whip marks on my back, his eyes filled with an indescribable complexity. I ask you one last time. His voice was hoarse. What do you truly want from me? I lifted my head and, mustering the last of my strength, gave him a pale yet hauntingly beautiful smile. What I've wanted, from the very beginning, has only been, Your Highness, you alone. Ding. Congratulations, host. The target's affection level has reached 100%. The novice mission is complete. Mission reward. 1 novice gift pack. Distributing now. My vision went black, and I completely passed out. And in the moment I lost consciousness, the last words I heard were Xiao Heng's low roar, tinged with a hint of desperation and confusion. Monster. I woke up to a soft, gentle sensation. The expected pile of straw was gone, replaced by silk bedding and an exquisite bedroom filled with the soothing scent of calming incense. I tried to move a little. The wound on my back still ached, but it had been carefully medicated and bandaged. Have I been transferred from the imperial prison to a 5-star hotel? Young lady, you're awake. A kind-faced elderly matron walked in, holding a bowl of medicine. Where is this? I asked hoarsely. Miss, this is the side hall of the Eastern Palace. His Highness the Crown Prince has instructed that you rest well here. I was stunned. Xiao Heng, that bastard, just moments ago he was threatening to kill me, and now he's brought me right under his nose. What on earth is he up to? Ding. The newbie gift pack has arrived. Would you like to open it? Open it. Now, immediately, I silently chanted in my mind. Gift package contents. 1. 1 mind reading experience card. Duration. 1 incense sticks time. 2. Versatile wardrobe function unlocked. 3. System store level 1 access unlocked. Mind reading. This is great. I've been wanting to see what Xiao Heng's really up to. Just then, the door was pushed open, and Xiao Heng walked in. He had changed out of his stern black robe and was wearing a moon-white casual outfit, looking less imposing and more refined. I immediately said to the system, use the mind-reading experience card. He walked to the bedside, looked at me, his face still wearing that icy expression, and said, how is your body, this sorceress? Is it really just a superficial injury? With that whip strike of mine, even a strong man would be bedridden for half a month. What is she made of? Listening to his contradictory inner thoughts, I almost couldn't hold back a laugh, so that's what he was thinking. I immediately cooperated by putting on a look of extreme weakness, coughing twice. Thank you for your concern, Your Highness. I'm not dead yet. He looked at me in this Linda-possessed state, his frown deepening even more. Why, seeing her so weak, my chest actually feels a bit tight. She must be casting some kind of sorcery again. I absolutely cannot be bewitched by her. Listening to his inner thoughts, I felt like I was about to suffocate from holding back laughter. Bro, your imagination is so wild it's a waste of talent not to write novels. He took the medicine bowl from the nanny's hands, sat by the bedside, scooped a spoonful, and brought it to my lips. Drink the medicine. I looked at the dark, murky liquid and instinctively shrank back, afraid it's bitter. He raised an eyebrow. A witch is still a witch, afraid to drink medicine. But, in this state, she looks somewhat pitiful. In his inner voice, there was actually a trace of softening. Even he himself hadn't noticed it. I seized the opportunity, immediately looking at him with my big, watery eyes, my voice soft and sweet. Your Highness, it's too bitter. Could I not drink it? He was stunned by my gaze, the spoon in his hand pausing mid-air. Is she acting spoiled with me? How audacious, this bewitching woman. How dare she use such lowly tricks? But, why does my heart seem to be beating a little faster? No, Xiao Heng, you must stay clear-headed. She is trying to bewitch you. She wants your true dragon's aura. She aims to overthrow your empire and kingdom. Listening to the intense internal battle raging within him, I felt like I wasn't watching a person, but a live performance of a split personality. Good medicine tastes bitter. In the end, he put on a stern face and said in a tone that brooked no argument, "You must drink it." I pouted, knowing that acting cute wouldn't work, and obediently opened my mouth. The moment the spoonful of medicine entered my mouth, it was so bitter that my entire face scrunched up. He looked at my miserable expression, and the corner of his mouth seemed to lift slightly. Quite amusing. After feeding me the medicine, he took out a small paper packet from his robe, opened it, and inside were a few glistening pieces of candied fruit. He picked one up and brought it to my lips. This is a tribute from the western regions that I've treasured for years. You're getting a bargain, you little witch. I looked at that piece of preserved fruit and listened to his insincere words, feeling a warm current surge in my heart. This man doesn't seem so detestable after all. I opened my mouth and took the preserved fruit. Its sweetness instantly melted on my tongue, driving away all the bitterness. Your Highness, I looked at him, mustering my courage, deciding to test the waters. Why are you so kind to me? Upon hearing this, his figure stiffened. He immediately withdrew his hand and resumed his icy demeanor. Being kind to her, I'm just keeping her steady. It's to uncover the mastermind behind her. It's for the sake of the great Liang's empire. It's definitely not because I find her a bit cute. Yes, that's it. He was frantically brainwashing himself internally. But his face wore an icy expression that said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand. I just don't want people to say I'm mistreating a helpless woman." He explained stiffly. Oh, I drew out the sound, looking at him meaningfully. The time for mind reading is almost up. I decided to give him one last intense move before it expires. I suddenly grabbed his hand, pressed his palm against my own cheek, then looked at him with an incredibly tender, lingering gaze. My voice so soft it could drip with sweetness. Your Highness, you are so good to me. She. Her face is so hot, so soft. Help, my heart. Why is my heart beating so fast? This enchantress's sorcery has grown even more advanced. Xiao Heng, hold on. You are the crown prince of a nation. You cannot be bewitched by mere beauty. No, mere sorcery. The mind-reading trial card, just as His Highness the Crown Prince was on the verge of a heart attack, successfully expired, and I, looking at his handsome face flushed red yet still trying to feign composure, couldn't hold back any longer and let out a phut, laughing aloud. Since moving into the side hall of the Eastern Palace, my recovery life has become quite colorful. Meanwhile, the Crown Prince has fallen into deep self-doubt and inner conflict. On one hand, he firmly believes I am a sorceress attempting to overthrow the kingdom, guarding against me at every turn and remaining vigilant at all times. On the other hand, he can't help but be drawn to me, finding all sorts of excuses to come to my quarters every day to keep an eye on me. For instance, today they sent over a copy of Admonitions for Women, urging me to study it diligently to cultivate my character and refine my nature. Tomorrow, they brought a chess set, insisting on playing a game with me, claiming it was to temper my disposition, as it turned out. My unorthodox and unpredictable moves as a sorceress left this paragon of righteousness utterly defeated, losing 3 games in a row. Your Highness, I said while tidying the chessboard, offering sincere consolation. Victory and defeat are common in battle, there's no need to take it to heart. He glared at me with a dark expression, and after a long pause, he gritted out through clenched teeth, I was just letting you win. I secretly laughed. I knew that ever since that mind-reading incident, the way he looked at me had become increasingly strange. He no longer dared to touch me easily, afraid of being bewitched by my sorcery, but he always lingered around me, and that conflicted little expression of his was the highlight of my day. That day, the system issued a new task again. Ding, main quest activated. Compose a love song together. Please perform a piece of music with the target of your affections within today. Quest reward. Advanced musical skill card. Looking at this task, my eyes lit up. I was originally a dancer, proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. This task was practically tailor-made for me. So, I immediately had the nanny invite the crown prince, saying that my injury had improved and I wished to play the zither for him as a token of gratitude for his care over the past days. Xiao Heng arrived very soon. He was probably afraid that I might conjure up some sorcery again on my own. So he specifically brought 2 guards to stand at the door, like 2 door gods. I had already set up a cheen table in the courtyard. The breeze brushed by, and the gauze curtains fluttered gently, giving off quite an ethereal aura. Your Highness, I greeted him with a graceful bow, my voice soft and gentle. I have prepared a piece of music and would like to perform it with you. Would your Highness be willing to honor me with your presence? He raised an eyebrow, seemingly a bit surprised. What is this enchantress up to now, playing a tune? Could it be she intends to disrupt my focus with demonic music? Alarm bells rang in his mind, but his expression remained unreadable. Oh, I, too, have some knowledge of music. I wonder, what piece do you intend to play? Phoenix seeks Phoenix. I replied with a smile, uttering a title that could very well strike him dead on the spot. Sure enough, he staggered, nearly losing his balance. Phoenix seeks Phoenix, how dare you? You wicked woman, in broad daylight, you actually dare to so blatantly seduce me. How should I respond? If I refuse directly, would it make me seem too heartless and instead provoke her rebellious spirit? But if I agree, wouldn't that be exactly what she wants? Watching his inner turmoil, I held back a laugh, took out a jade flute from the side, and handed it to him. If your Highness is unwilling to play the zither, playing the flute is just as good. His face instantly turned the color of liver. Blow the flute. She actually knows such vulgar words. This enchantress really did crawl out of a demon's lair. Shameless, corrupting moral principles. Looking at his expression, as if he were about to ascend to heaven on the spot, I finally realized that he seemed to have misunderstood something. I mean, your Highness, that the cheen and se harmonize, and the flute's melody complements, only then is it a perfect match. I quickly explained. Enough, he snapped, cutting me off, and snatched the jade flute from my hand as if it were a hot potato. I'll risk my life to keep you company and play a duet with you, he said through gritted teeth, as if heading to the battlefield. And so, the melody of the phoenix seeks its mate began in such an eerie atmosphere. I play the cheen, he plays the xiao. It must be said, his musical skill is extraordinary. The sound of his xiao is clear and melodious, blending seamlessly with the notes of my cheen. As the melody ended, its lingering tones seemed to hover in the air. I looked up and met his deep, intense gaze. In that moment, I saw a flicker of daze and emotion in his eyes, and he, from the sound of my cheen, heard a trace of sincerity that even I hadn't noticed. Ding. Target's affection value plus 100, current total affection value, 200, congratulations, host, main quest over fulfilled, rewards have been issued. Before I could even feel happy, I saw Xiao Heng suddenly throw down his jade flute, as if scalded, and stand up abruptly, which, he pointed at me, his voice tinged with a barely noticeable panic. Your zither music, it's strange, it can disturb my mind. After saying this, he turned and fled without looking back, escaping in disarray. Watching his flustered retreating figure, I finally couldn't hold back and burst into laughter. Xiao Heng, you self-persuading, love-obsessed fool, how much longer can you keep up this stubborn denial? Since the Phoenix seeks Phoenix duet incident, Xiao Heng has been avoiding me even more. He no longer comes to monitor me in person, but instead sends his most trusted eunuch, De Quan, to deliver various self-cultivation items to me every day. Today it's a scroll of Buddhist scriptures. Tomorrow a set of tea utensils, and the day after, he even sent a complete set of embroidery hoops and multicolored silk threads. Looking at that mountain-like pile of gifts, I feel like I'm not recuperating but rather experiencing the retired life of an elderly cadre ahead of time. Ding. Detected that the target of pursuit has entered the emotional avoidance phase. It is recommended that the host take the initiative to create physical contact, which can effectively increase the heartthrob value. Forget it, I rolled my eyes at the system. Last time, just a glance almost sent me straight to reincarnation. If I take the initiative this time, I'm afraid he'll just hire a Taoist priest to exorcise me. I decided to adopt the if the enemy doesn't move, neither will I strategy of a lazy fish, spending my days drinking tea, reading books, and doing embroidery. Though the mandarin ducks I embroidered looked more like chicks, in the side hall, life was quite leisurely. However, even though I didn't seek him out, trouble came looking for me. One day, news suddenly spread through the palace. The envoy delegation from the neighboring country of Northern Yang was about to arrive in the capital, led by Northern Yang's most favored little princess, Tuoba Ling. It is said that the purpose of the little princess's visit is to form a marriage alliance, and looking across the entire Daliang royal family, the only unmarried man of suitable age is the crown prince, Xiao Heng. As soon as the news broke, the entire Eastern Palace grew tense. Although I reside in a side hall, I've overheard quite a few discussions among the palace maids. Have you heard that Northern Yang princess is the pearl of the grasslands, with a fiery temper and top-notch riding and archery skills? Yes, compared to our crown prince, who is such a gentle and refined gentleman. They are worlds apart. If they really get married, the Eastern Palace will probably never have a peaceful day again. Listening to this gossip, my heart suddenly sank. Marriage alliance, I immediately said to the system, quick, pull up the plot about the Northern Yang princess in power over the realm. Searching. Ding. Search complete. In the original story, the Northern Yang princess, Tuoba Ling, is cunning and ruthless. One of the male lead Xiao Heng's greatest adversaries in the early stages. Under the guise of a marriage alliance, she actually carries a secret mission to overthrow the great Liang. Later, she turns against her mission after falling in love with the male lead and ultimately dies by his sword. I drew a sharp breath. Wow, here comes a heavyweight female villain. I haven't managed to break the male lead seductress filter yet, and now a real femme fatale has arrived. It seems my path to winning him over is about to enter hard mode. A few days later, the Northern Yang envoy arrived. The emperor held a grand state banquet in the palace to welcome them. As the crown prince's close confidant who is recovering from injuries, I was naturally granted permission to attend. I sat at the end of the women's seating area, discreetly observing the legendary princess of Northern Yang. She truly lived up to her reputation, dressed in fiery red riding attire. Her skin appeared whiter than snow, with an aura of boldness and wildness unique to the children of the grasslands, a beauty that was strikingly aggressive. At the banquet, she showed no sign of timidity, chatting and laughing freely with my father, the emperor. Every gesture and movement exuded the grace and dignity befitting a princess of a nation. Xiao Heng, as the crown prince, sat below the emperor, expressionless throughout, his gaze cold and detached, showing not the slightest interest in the passionately fiery princess. However, Tuoba Ling's gaze would occasionally, and pointedly, fall upon him. After 3 rounds of drinks, Tuoba Ling suddenly stood up, raised her cup to the emperor, and spoke in a voice as clear as a bell. Your Majesty, I have traveled from afar and have heard that the Crown Prince of Great Liang is both a master of letters and martial arts, a true dragon among men, though I am untalented. I am also somewhat skilled in riding and archery, and I deeply admire him. I wonder if I might have the honor of exchanging a few moves with the Crown Prince. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire hall was stunned. A woman, and a princess from a neighboring country at that, dares to openly challenge the Crown Prince of Daliang at a state banquet. This is no longer a friendly contest, it's a provocation. The emperor's face instantly darkened, yet Xiao Heng remained as unruffled as ever. He slowly set down his wine cup, lifted his gaze to look at Tuobaling, and said in a calm voice, "Your Highness, how would you like to spar?" "Simple." Tuobaling curled her lips into a confident smile. "We'll compete in archery, 3 arrows each, and whoever's shot lands closest to the bullseye wins. As for the wager," her gaze shifted, finally settling on me. "Let's bet. This young lady, me, what's it got to do with me?" Tuobaling pointed at me and said to Xiao Heng with a smile, "I've heard that this young lady is Your Highness the Crown Prince's beloved. If I win, I would ask Your Highness to part with her and let her become my personal maid, accompanying me back to Northern Yang. If Your Highness wins." She paused, her gaze turning bold and fervent. "I, Tuobaling, will offer myself to become your consort, serving by Your Highness's side from then on." Without a word of complaint, I was utterly stunned. What kind of divine move is this? Using me as a bet and planning to win me back as a maid? I looked at Xiao Heng, and for the first time, a crack appeared on his perpetually icy face. His hand was already tightly gripping the sword at his waist, the veins on the back of his hand bulging. I know, he's angry. I can even clearly hear his inner monologue right now. Although I don't have telepathy, that overwhelming murderous intent is almost materializing. "Bold barbarian, how dare you? How dare you covet my enchantress?" The entire hall was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Everyone's gaze was fixed on Xiao Heng and Tuobaling, the tension reaching its peak. As the innocent stake in this situation, sitting among the attendees, I felt as if I were being roasted over a fire. I could even sense the various looks from all directions, some sympathetic, some gloating, and others just there for the spectacle. Ding! A major plot point detected. Triggering the hidden mission. Flower Protector, please assist the target of your strategy to win this contest. Mission success reward, 3 mind reading trial cards. Mission failure, the host will be sent to Northern Yang to begin the Grassland Arc.